the rhythm of your heart. I will taste your blood before the day is done!
My skin is cold. Transfusion with some.
This is actually how I play it. Shots to switched it up a notch. Let the dough cook on the stove. We turn the eye down, watch the pot. 10-17 round my chain, so I told the same amount of shot. Palm, orange, denim, hugging me, pockets keep growing out. And I had shit when I got out. Had to snake my way to the top. 2 man down, who got him shot. Brr, switch out the Glock. Mug around me, get you popped.
What's up, guys? Hey, after a fucking 2-week hiatus, I'm back with episode 28. Yeah, episode 28. I'm really bad remembering the episode numbers. I thought I was on 30 for like a week, but then I had to like look back at my SoundCloud. Remember, I'm on episode 28. So welcome back to episode 28 of the StyleBeasting podcast. And before I go in, I guess I should explain why I haven't really been posting really much anything for the past 2 weeks. It's been really low personnel at work, so I had to like work extra hours. Excuse me. And I really didn't have like the energy to get up and like record, put stuff together, and I didn't really have anything to think about, really. I don't know why. I really didn't. I was just like really just focus on other shit, and I just felt, I don't know, I just felt bad. It's like, it was for the past 2 weeks, I just didn't feel right. I think it was like a couple of days ago, I started feeling my mood started changing. So I was working on this design for an old college friend of mine, and he always asked me that me and him was going to do work together. So I did his logo and his album cover, and it came out pretty fucking well. Because when I started, I didn't know how to get to. Because every time I do my designs, I never know how I got to the end point, like the very end point, like the save final, blase blah, whatever you name it. When you save it as the final bullshit, it looks horrible at the beginning, and it just like, out of nowhere, just take 2 or 3 days to come back to and look at it, and it comes out looking amazing. I was like, shit, man, that's really fine work. Because where I started from originally, I thought I liked it, and I thought it was in a good spot, and then I just had to do a little bit more tweaks or whatever to make it better. But I never, for some reason, when I started a design project, I'm never really confident in it. But like, I have plenty of ideas to shoot for it. But when I initially like put it on a canvas, it looks bad, and it just like gets me mentally down. It's just like, ugh, this shit looks horrible and ugly. But like fine tuning and like come after like leaving and coming back. And leaving and coming back, I just like add stuff to it, move stuff around, change the color, and boom, came out looking pretty fucking amazing. And shouts out to at said bless. He's a real one for giving me the opportunity to do some work. I thank you for that, man. And I guess for this, actually, I should start. Actually, yeah, I guess I should start right now with the topic of this week.
And now, our feature presentation.
The reason why I love violent anime and manga is because seeing the fights and all actually it's mainly the fights, really, because you want to see how it looks from the manga compared to the anime, or just in manga in general. Because reading Baki is some crazy fights. Like, I think Keagan, Asura, and Omega probably has one of my favorite kind of fights. Like, these fights is ridiculous, bro. I've seen a lot of shit that we'll get to soon. But like seeing like how creative they are with the fights and how like they use martial arts and how they like they draw it into it, because there are a bunch of martial arts moves that made no sense, like Dopo giving a blind man his eyesight and then like gouging his eyes out and killing him. Like I was like, what? Like that was ridiculous. Or what was the one that was crazy? I think it was what manga was it that was reading that had crazy ass fight like that? Oh, it was a gambling manga called Yurzguri, something like that. And it's like the fucking like quote unquote butlers are like prodigious fighters, and the main characters, quote unquote butler bodyguard, is like some sobered up, drugged out like monster killer dude that has like prodigious hands. Like these guys are throwing hands in this. Like the main focal point of the whole fucking manga is gambling, but there's fighting in it, and the fighting is like what? The fighting is on some next level type shit. It's like watching Bak in Ocean's 11. Yeah, picture Bak 13, the fighting scenes in Ocean's 11 for no reasons. What the fuck? No, not Ocean's 13. Not Casino Royale. That's what it is. Put Bak's fighting scenes in Casino Royale, and that's what it is. I was like, bro, that's ridiculous. Stupid. So it really started. Well, I guess it all started with Dragon Ball Z, because it's mainly every season's a tournament to see who's the strongest. Because as a kid, you was like, yo, Goku going off every episode. This nigga's out here fighting. He just out here just throwing hands with everybody. And if you really want to go back even further, I really want to start at my favorite violent manga and anime of all time, Fist of the North Star. Fist of the North Star is the I want to say Godfather. Yes, it's the godfather of violent manga. Like Kenshiro touches you on your shoulder and your head, and your brain explodes out your fucking head. Like every fight is overpowered. Like this character is like, I remember, because if you don't know the story of Fist of the North Star, Fist of the North Star is based in Japan after like a nuclear war between all the continents. So it's like the whole world is like got nuked and it's a wasteland. And the only thing that's left is the people that survived it, and some of the buildings that are left. Anything else is just rubble and desert. So the only way that people survive is to have like some sort of martial arts or weapons, because I don't think they have guns, but it's not like AKs and stuff like that. It's like a sawed-off shotgun or a pistol, and you just have axes and spears. And the strongest technique is a technique that hits you in your, what is that shit called? Your pressure point, and it kills you instantly. It's an instant kill no matter what. Like you have 5 seconds to live and you just die. And that's the Hoto Shiken, or the Fist of the North, which is basically the title of the whole fucking anime. Manga itself. But it's pretty fucking decent. Kenshiro's just like the most OD hand to hand ever. But what really is the focal point of today's episode is Baki and Keagan Asura and Keagan Omega, the sequel to Keagan Asura. So I guess I'll start at Baki, since that is getting since that anime is getting season 3, I think. I don't know. The way when Netflix has it seasoned up is weird. But yeah, I'll start with Baki. So the new season of Baki is going to be Son of Ogre, which is going to cover the astral projection training for Baki, where he fights a dinosaur. I forgot, it was a black boxer and a roach and a praying mantis. And I think it was a kangaroo. I might have forgotten if it was a kangaroo there. I might be wrong. It might not have been a kangaroo there, but I know all the other ones were in there. And all this is basically, well, I'll get through the arcs. The next arc in the Son of Ogre is the prison battle arc, which is Baki going to jail and fighting Oliver Biscuit and Che Guevara, which that guy was a this is based off a real guy, and I think he was, I forgot, I think he was a bad guy. I might be wrong. I think he was. And the next arc is I can't remember the official name, but I always call it Pickle arc, because it's basically the arc of Pickle, the caveman, versus all the fighters in the underground tournament. And the final arc in this whole Son of Ogre is, what is this in there? Yeah, is Baki versus Yujiro. The final battle between father and son, and us seeing whether Baki can beat Yujiro or not. And if you didn't read the manga, you already know what happened in all this. So I'm going to go through each arc, and I'm going to, spoiler alert, tell you basically what happens, and not for pound, but what's mainly going on. So the first arc, the mind fight arc. Now, if you watched the last episode of the last season of Baki, you saw Baki summon like an astral version of Yujiro in a ring to fight him. That was the start of his training, because everybody was confused on fighting him, and say when he was told, after he beat Muhammad Ali, and he told Yujiro, "Hey, you're my last real fight. I'm done. After that, I'm done with you," which he's not, because he has to, because there's 2 more seasons of Baki after this one, which is funny. Fucking Baki told Yujiro, "Hey, you're gonna be my last serious fight, so let's go ahead and get this over with." And he told Yujiro, let's do this, but I have to train first. So the mind training is him basically putting himself through the toughest of fights to see where he stands in the world and where he ranks up. So funny enough, a kid runs into, like, if you saw the trailer, you saw the kid look at Baki and was like, "Oh shit." And that's how the chapter starts, really, for the new season. It's the kid seeing Baki just walking and fighting by himself. But if you look closer, you see Baki fighting a T-Rex. Or was it a box? No, it was T-Rex. It was a T-Rex. It was fighting. And the kid saw it, and the kid was like, "What the fuck?" Because he didn't know what the hell was going on. Because he was like, "Why the fuck is there a T-Rex in the fucking streets fighting this kid?" And weird enough, Baki starts hanging out. The kids start hanging out with Baki, only for a little bit, I think. But it was still cool that Baki was like a big brother to him, because The guy's like, if you, because Baki at the end of the day, he's like only like 18. No, he's not 18 yet. His birthday's not here yet. So he's still a 17-year-old kid, not even at a high school. And he's like one of the manliest mans you'll ever run into. Even though he's like low-key dumb at times. But is a fighting genius, like on some ridiculous level. But, well, that's how he was able to really materialize like people, not real people, but corporeal people, but they were real enough to harm him. He was of that fighting genius that you could do that. Now, I'm not saying that you could out of nowhere conjure up Muhammad Ali and fight him in the astral and like on some shadow boxing type shit, because that's not real. But I'm saying in manga verse, he was able to do that. And he's still trying to get speed and power up, because I still don't remember the boxer's name that he fucking fought, because he had to see where his power lied, because since he summoned that, George Foreman? I think it might have been George Foreman, because I don't think it was Tyson, or no, it has to be George Foreman. I think he did summon George Foreman as a spirit and fought him.
The fuck are you talking about?
And beat him, because he had to see if George Foreman's punch was strong enough to knock was stood up the same level as usual's, which I don't think it did, but on a grand scheme, it was strong enough to put him on a tilt. And
The fuck are you talking about?
I think the last one he ended up using to summon was a praying mantis. And he had to see how his speed and his reaction time worked in that bug-like reflexes. So he made it like 6 or 7 feet tall, which is ridiculous comparing it to how big a praying mantis is in real life. So try to imagine 7 feet tall praying mantis fighting you. So yeah, and none of it was really working to the degree of what he thought it was. So he ended up seeing a roach on the ground, and seeing how this roach was maneuvering, dodging, and was able to move at such a high velocity, and since its body texture and how it's made and how like its body is made up makes it able to like withstand like the toughest of degrees of punishment and still live. So Baki just used that logic and added that to his fighting repertoire. So Baki learned how to really, the only thing it is him just like liquefying his body, because roaches don't have bones, it's all just fluid. So he just like liquefied his whole body into like some kind of fluid to make it like almost like he's just water, and he darts at you, and like a roach is like how it just darts across the room. He just darts across you and like spears you. So I think he called it the roach stance, and I think he called the roach Sama. So yeah, be wary of that. And I think that, yeah, he did add to his repertoire, because he also, while doing the mind summoning technique Baki was doing, he was also training in the street, like just by walking, just by like doing normal stuff. Because this couple saw Baki walking, and then they saw his body turn to liquid and move in and out, and was like, is he a ghost? And this leads up to Baki meeting, if I'm not mistaken, President Bush in the street, and leading to Baki kidnapping said president, to go to Arizona's worst prison to meet Oliver Biscuit to fight arguably at the time, to the closest person to use your road, Biscuit Oliver or Olivia Biscuit, whichever one, or Unchained. And to do that, he has to go to jail because I don't think they're gonna let him in Arizona prison without him committing the crime just to fight Oliver. So the only way to get in there is he has to go to jail. And so he gave the president an ultimatum because he kidnapped him. So what was crazy was the president was just driving through. Baki ran the car, picked him up, and ran to the nearest hotel and sat him there and told the president, if you take me to this said prison, I won't hurt you and I won't harm you, and we can call it even. So Bush ends up sending to Arizona. Biscuit meets up with him and says, hey, I'm ready to fight. Let's do this. Baki ended up thinking that he was ready to fight Oliver, thinking he could go in there and just beat his ass and leave. Found out that it's not going to be that easy, and he has to go through the proper procedures to get to him, which means he has to fight his way up to be number 2, which means you have to be the second in line to be unchained and take Oliver's place, which is no other than the prisoner Che Guevara. Now, I don't know. Now, I didn't know who Che Guevara was when I first started. I hadn't heard of his name before because I hadn't heard of it in I think it was on a poster I saw him. I saw Che Guevara for the first time, but I didn't know his name. But reading the chapter before knowing like his background was like, oh shit, this guy's pretty cool. He fights for something. Well, in the manga, he fights for something, fights for freedom, and he's a man of honor and respect. But if we're going by the real life version of him, well, I think they still kept the same way. A tic-tac-tin, damn, I am fucking up. A tic-tac-tin of guerrilla warfare, a prominent communist figure in Cuba. After he was executed in Bolivia by the Bolivian army and regarded as a martyr hero by the generations of leftists worldwide, and became an icon for the leftists in radicalism and anti-imperialism. Oh shit. Yeah, damn, they made Che Guevara. Damn, they did not. Wow, they did. It's the same thing. Yeah, that's basically Che Guevara, but in the manga, he held Bush's family hostage. He was in the U.S. and was crazy strong. Like, I think the first thing that he did was he got a plate of food thrown on him, and in this jail, the police do not mind shooting you if you get out of line. Like, if you talk to them while like getting asked to, they're shooting you in the face, and like they are not playing no games. If they don't care who you are. But back to Che Guevara. After Che Guevara gets food thrown in his face by this sumo wrestler guy who ended up in jail, the guy challenges him to be the number 2 seed in the prison before fighting Oliver. Now, Che Guevara I'm thinking Che Guevara is like some brawler nigga like Miguel off Tekken. This nigga ripped some hair out of his head, twirled it up, stuck it in dude's ear, and ripped out a piece of his body so he couldn't reach a piece of it, a portion of something in his ear, so he can't stand up straight. Now, mind you, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. When he did that, dude couldn't get up off his back. Like, he was permanently on his back. Like, it didn't matter how many times he got up, he couldn't do anything. And since they were fighting in a place of prison that's supposed to be cut off from the other prisoners, the security guard shot him in the face. Not Chegg or whatever, the sumo wrestler. If you're the number 2, they'll allow a lot of shit slide. Yeah, if you're number 1, number 2, you get a lot of special treatment because they respect power. Everybody else, they just treat you like you ain't shit. So they treat Baki like he's an asshole, but Baki's at this time, he's not the strongest, but he's still like number 3 in the building. So pretty soon after that, we get to Baki versus. I'm not gonna spoil a lot of it since it's coming out soon, but that whole arc was fucking fire because it was like a restart. It was like like how Baki was when he was a kid, how he had to move away from home, train and come back right to get his body right to fight his father when he came back when he was 16, but that didn't work out. So going to this prison, reshaped Baki, had to get him right. Che lost his fight to Olivia Biscuit. It was ridiculous. Like, he lost that fight to his girl. And you see Olivia's girlfriend too, which I'm not gonna spoil that either because that was mad weird when you see her. And let's just say that's a big bitch. That's the only thing I'm gonna say. But yeah, Baki had to like really get into Biscuit's head because Biscuit thought he's a kid. He's literally 17 and I'm like almost 40 years old. Why do I have to listen to this kid or like have to like pay him any mind or any kind of I want to say respect in this way because even though Baki is probably like the strongest underground fighter and revered as the strongest, second strongest. He was revered as the strongest in that area, but like leaving the underground and going to the real world is something different. And even though he's the son of the ogre, Biscuit still sees him as like a kid. So all this little shit that Baki does to piss Biscuit off, walking outside, like treating him like he's like walking around thinking he's like in charge, like how Olive is. So like when he just like shits on Biscuit, calls him chained instead of unchained, like he just shits on him at any point in time. And Biscuit returns a favor by like talking down on Baki. He even peed on Baki, which is weird. Like he peed on that nigga, like on some R. Kelly type shit. And I was like, that's fucking weird, but okay. But Biscuit falls for the trap, gets tired of Baki being cocky, fights him and loses. It was a spectacular fight, and Biscuit activates his Sonic Ball mode, which again is you have to read to check it out. It's ridiculously weird. But after that arc, we start the last arc of the series. Well, the second to last arc, the Caveman arc, which is probably my worst arc because in that arc, a lot of people take L's. A lot of people like get their ass whooped by a 10-foot, 1 million year old caveman that fought dinosaurs that every martial artist thinks that they think they can beat this nigga. They beat the dogs, get beat. They lose so bad to this nigga. It's not even funny. Like, he bitch slapped Baki from the middle of the ring to like the upper chairs with like one palm strike. It was just like smack, and nigga went flying. It was like on some Dragon Ball Z shit in Baki. Like, I know Baki's already on some Dragon Ball Z shit, but like getting bitch slapped like this and not getting flung back is ridiculous. And like so when you fight the caveman, he eats a part of you for like respect, and like he cries while doing it because he's sad that he's eating you. So he eats Retsu's shoulder and his foot. He's Katsumi's right arm. He eats Jack's lower jaw. Who else did he fight? I think that's it. I think that's all the people he fought. Everybody lost, and when him and Baki fought, it was like in like a draw type shit because the caveman used a fighting move that was like vindicative of like the new age instead of using his caveman strength. So like in a sense he lost because Hariyama and Retsu were having like a monologue, and Retsu said Baki won because Retsu had to Pickle the caveman had to like use a martial arts move instead of sticking to his own style. He had to like at the last drawing moment had to pull something out his ass. And because of that, that's why Hariyama thinks Pickle won, because at the end of the day, it's a fight. It's not like a beauty contest. It's like whoever is on the ground loses, and Baki lost. But I guess it ended in a draw since, I don't know, nobody even claimed it. But the piece de resistance, the epic battle of father and son, the last arc of the Son of Ogre, Baki versus Yujiro. A 18-year revenge plot coming to fruition. I'm fucking up on words today. God dang it. Fruition. Yes, I think I may be wrong, but back to it. So with this last arc, is basically Baki just summing up all the training, all the fights, and putting them in one correlation of like, I'm really going to beat my dad's ass, and everybody's getting hyped too because people are like, oh shit, Baki's going to whoop his dad's ass. This is like the fight that we've been waiting for like ever. And Hariyama, for some weird reason, has like little doubts in Baki because he sends one of like, I wouldn't say a goon. I say like his, I don't even know. I guess you would say like a little brother, but it's not his little brother. I guess, yeah, little brother. I forgot his name too. Damn it. I forgot his name too. He's a cool character. He was in the maximum tournament. He was one of those Yakuza niggas that was just fighting with just his like body and shit. And like he sent him to go to Baki's house and try to fight him. Got his ass whooped like 5 times, but kept on getting up. And Baki beat him with like using his eyes only. Cause Chizuru, his name was Chizuru. Yeah. Chizuru was gonna stab Baki in the eyes with his fingers, but like Baki like jolted forward and crushed Chizuru's fingers with his eyes and won the fight. I don't know. Don't even ask me. They won the fight. Now, the day of the fight, before the day of the fight, Baki brought his dad over to have a cup of tea with him because it was his birthday. And weirdly enough, Yujiro came. They had a cup of tea and was like, "Hey, this is a good cup of tea. Let's have it again when we get ready to fight." Now, the fight was on some other shit. I'm not gonna spoil that either because you might want to read that. But let's just say this fight was probably one of the greatest fights in Baki. Like it was like a long drag out fight. It was like on some other shit. Like it was beautiful. But the Baki's the shit, man. That's why I love Baki. And like the way it ended, it was me personally, I liked how they did Baki Duo, which is like an after story of Baki Son of Ogre, where it talks about like Baki's. Well, not necessarily Baki. It's not necessarily about Baki. It's about actually, Baki Duo is more about the characters of Baki than Baki itself, because it shows a samurai and the sumo contest that's starting right now, which what you guys got to read, because Baki just whooped this sumo wrestler's ass with one punch, and he used that liquid. He's turning his body to liquid technique. He's fucking beastly. But you definitely gotta check that out. Like Baki, I started reading Baki and I haven't stopped since. But the But another manga that Netflix picked up, Keagan Asura. Now, before I speak about Keagan Asura, I gotta speak on the Netflix series they made. It's bad. But the reason why it's bad is because now the animation style, I know everybody's not a big fan of 3D. I'm not saying you shouldn't. You should be a fan. Only thing is, I like the 3D. If they would have done the full story, like the stuff that they didn't show or that happened in the manga in the anime, I would have been fine with the 3D. And look at how I know I would have been sad now seeing how King and Omega is, but oh my god, King and Asura, oh my god, the Netflix, man. Now that I read it fully and I'm on a sequel, man, that Netflix missed so much. Like, they missed a side story talking about the infiltration of like a different faction in the Keagan match. There was like a bunch of characters, assassins that we didn't get to see, like hella backstory that we missed about Nico and other shit. Like, shit, we didn't even get to the part where the semifinal started. Like, we didn't see the other fights. Like, we didn't see the Agito, the winner of the contest last time, the guy wearing that all black suit, which that is a fucking weird dude in Keagan Asura. In Keagan Omega, he's a cooler dude because that's a sequel. But in that story, oh my god, that nigga is weird. Because that nigga just goes off. Now, Keagan Asura is about this. It's weird. Keagan Asura is about a guy named Oma meeting I want to say tax guy named Mr. Kamashiro, Mr. Kamada, and Mr. Kamada is your typical old desk job guy. He lived his life, kind of is at a shit end job, been working all his life, and got shit to show for it. But ran into this kid, and he gave him seeing him beat up this big ass fighter dude, gave him the story said it gave him like a warrior spirit, I guess. And it makes sense. And actually that plays a big part of his story and his character in the show. Because him meeting that kid started a journey of him joining a fighting business tycoon tournament. Now, it's not the business tycoons are fighting. They hire martial artists from around the world to fight for them in the tournament. So, in a sense, think of Yu Yu Hakusho, the Dark Tournament, how Tagoro was fighting for that pretty boy, how he was fighting for a corporation. That's in terms, that's how it is. You're sponsored by somebody and they fight. And if you win, you become the leader of all the businessmen in the world. And I think you have like a button, like you're gonna be caked up. And they enter the tournament. Oma meets like some weird dudes, and he's trying to find a dude who killed his master. I forgot. There's a lot of people's names I forgot. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm not really trying to spoil it for you guys neither, because I'm not trying to go over the full story. I'm just going to go over a little bit of it and the main premise. So the main premise of the story is almost looking for revenge of the guy who killed his master. He ends up finding a dude in the tournament, but there's another part of the story of the show that nobody's really going for, that wasn't shown on Netflix. That there's a mutiny with the businessmen to overthrow and take over the Keagan Association to rule over all the Keagan matches and to try to quote unquote kill the main old man in charge. Now, that plan doesn't work. Everything doesn't go as planned. There's still some plot holes in Keagan Ashura that was open that I was like kind of weary of. Closer to the end of the chapters, getting close to the end of the whole story in general. And then I found out there's another story, Keagan Omega, which starts literally I want to say like a year or months after Keagan Ashura, but stuff that happened in Keagan Ashura greatly influenced Keagan Omega. Like the new main character of Keagan Omega, Koga, is only reason that he's even in the story is because of Oma, the main character in Keagan Ashura. And the same people that were the same protagonist that was in Keagan Ashura showed up again and is the main focal point, or is building up to be the main focal point in Keagan Omega. Now, before I started Keagan Omega, I didn't know there was a chapter 0. Now, earlier last week, I read chapter 0 and I checked it out and I was like, because it started with Koga and he's just going in the martial arts martial arts club, and he's beating this dude like badly, and he's just going off and just like, he's a typical like raging character. Is like always angry, he's always trying to fight. And he runs into his homeboy and he's looking for somebody in particular. And when he mentions something like the dark web, because Koga's an idiot, he doesn't know that much, he starts looking into like underground fighting tournaments. And they found out about the Keagan Ashura tournament, the Keagan matches, not the Keagan Ashura tournament. This is the Keagan matches. And Koga's face became that of a demon's when he saw the one character in particular, Oma. Now, when you read Keagan Omega to chapter 1 or 2, you find out that Oma, before he calmed down later in the series, he was an asshole and a brute in the early parts of the chapter and prior because of his past. Now, Oma beat the brakes off this kid and scared the shit out of him, and because of that, made Koga go to work and get stronger. Now, there's reasons why he can't get Oma in the beginning of this story, and I'm not gonna spoil that because that's a big part of the story, big part of like the first half of the story so far. Well, is it half? Because I want to say, where is chapter 50 at? I forgot what chapter I'm on, because we're at this new chapter. No, I'm wrong. I really don't want to say. I want to say like a quarter of it, because halfway through this, we were in another chapter and it was on some other shit. But Keagan Omega is violent. Keagan Ashura and Keagan Omega is violent, gory, mixed martial arts type of manga. Because they don't stray away from blood. Murders. I seen people get murdered by lethal hands. I seen people to use their fists as turning to steel as like arm cannons. I seen dude put his fingers in somebody's eye sockets and like rip his throat out. I think the like ODest kill I seen Keagan like shit in general was the recent chapter. No, it was a chapter last week. So it started with this guy named Ryan from the Curing clan, which is a clan of assassins. He has beef with another group on the opposite team that they're fighting right now. called Purgatory, and they're a whole fighting team that they're trying to take over the Keagan association because they got more money. They're not as brutal as the Keagan matches because in the Purgatory you can't kill, you can't brutally maim. It's like a real MMA fight. It's a little bit more lax with the fighting and brutalities, but it's not murder like in Keagan matches. Like a Keagan match, you could kill somebody and then still be the winner. You do that in Purgatory, you're disqualified and you lose. Now, you're telling this to a group of niggas that kill people. Like, really, 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 really kill niggas. Like, for real. Like, that Trippie Redd song, like, kill people like that. Like, they play Blue Balenciaga's 223s, like, Murder on My Mind shit. Like, when they're out there murdering people with their bare hands. Now, prior to this, there's a man named Edward Wu and what's that guy's name on the Purgatory team? One of the 3 warlords, I think, or 3 kings. Edward is a part of the Curing clan that's a part of the U.S. because there's 3 factions. One in the U.S., the side branch, and the main branch. Now, the westward branch, which is probably the United States, is a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more not as following the traditions as the main branch, or as the main and side branch. Now, being that Ed, one of the Worm, which is another protagonist in the story, is trying to kill Ryan and trying to beat in the side and main Curing family so they can rule. So the Curing family has this special move called Removal, which is basically you get bigger, muscular, and you become Broly. Except you turn, actually no, instead of using Broly reference, you end up looking like the nigga from the Dexter. Remember the Dexter's Laboratory little side skips when it was fake ass Captain America, Thor, and the Hulk, and the Hulk was purple. It's basically you end up looking like that, but way more like veiny muscles, paws, and like your eyes turn black. So when their eyes are already black because of like their lineage and them being like mad assassins, mad murderers, and like using their like gene and like fixing their genes to become super OP strong. So like them niggas are already crazy. So Ryan sees this nigga Edward's student go crazy and use Removal and start fighting. Now Ryan is on the defensive, and I was like, damn, I never seen Ryan on the defensive. Ryan's the main aggressor. Now Ryan looks up and looks at Ed, and it cuts back to a flashback of Ryan getting scolded. I won't want to necessarily say scolded, but his grandfather was telling him, hey, one of your family members was killed by Ed on the westward faction, and we will not stand for this. We will kill him at all costs. And the face that fucking Ryan made was probably the weirdest, scariest face I've seen in manga. Like, I've seen a lot of weird faces in manga. This was like, takes the cake. This, as soon as he saw Edward, the nigga, his student, whatever Alan, his name, he start using current techniques. Now, mind you, in all the chapters of King and Asura and all the chapters of King and Omega, except the last two or three chapters, we have never seen Ryan use a technique except Removal, except become the Hulk. Other than that, it's been raw ass whooping. Now, when he started using techniques, it was like he was beating his ass to the point where it was like Damn, he didn't need to like go Hulk on him. But as soon as he went Hulk, he went off. Now, mind you, again, remember what I said, you can't kill in this match. Now, Ryan told his man, get out of my way, I'm going to kill Edward. He put both his hands in Alan's mouth and ripped him in half. Literally. Like, from the top of his mouth to his belly button is split in half, and his guts and organs is all over the stage. He didn't even look at the ground to see if he was still moving. He ran towards Edward, and we haven't seen Ron since. So I don't know if Edward's fighting him now or he's running to set him up. But with this, it fucked the whole thing up because you're not supposed to kill. And the Keagan associates, the main guys, the guys like the business guys, are all like they're worrying because like, bro, why did you kill him? We know we can't be doing this, but like the old man was like, he killed one of our own. I don't give a damn about I don't give a damn about the Keagan matches. I don't give a damn about the honor, about us being associates. I give a damn about my family honor. We about to kill this nigga. Like he was about like, fuck all that money. We here for our honor. And in the newer chapter today, they found out that they ended up losing that match because Ryan ended up killing old dude. It was fucked up, but like, what do you expect? I mean, it's whatever. They're gonna win anyways. But the next match is gonna be fucking weird because it's a judo match and it's with another one of the kings, and with the other dude that he's fighting is on the Keagan side. Is weird because he died in Keagan Asura, but for some weird reason he's back in this one, and he's the son of the tycoon that screwed people over in Asura, but it makes no sense. And on top of that, he himself may have beef with the nigga he's fighting now, because his father that he killed in Keagan Asura prior to might have taught the nigga that he's fighting now judo. So it's just a big ass circle of beef and like niggas hating each other over shit that happened years ago that I didn't know about. Like this arc in Keagan Omega is just a beef. Like niggas just have beef. It's nothing to do with anything. It's just beef, beef, beef. I got beef with you. You got beef with me. And for some weird reason, I know you from like my childhood, but I put it in my back of my mind. So now I don't have beef. Everybody except the first match, everybody had beef, which is crazy. I don't know why the first people. Well, actually, no, they had beef too because they were both boxers and they had to change up their style. So yeah, every fucking body had beef, and I don't know who. And this is probably the greatest thing ever. Like I like Keagan Omega better than Baki because even though they're not necessarily both real, and some of the martial arts stuff is real, some is a little bit put on, but still in a sense, it's still like really fucking great and like awesome as shit. Will Netflix redo Keagan Asura to do it right for Keagan Omega? No, probably not. But here's hoping they do. But that's what I have for you guys today. I want to say thank you. It's been a long 2 weeks, and in a better mood now. I think getting back into my old editing and designing stuff has lifted up my spirits, and I feel like that's something I might want to do to help if I'm in a rut. Maybe just design some little stuff to quirk myself back, to bring myself up from the ashes of old Delton into new Delton, if that makes sense. Like Michael the Phoenix. That sounded bad. But thank you guys for listening. Next week, be on the lookout for more stuff. I'm sorry I waited so long to drop this episode. And my YouTube, I'm gonna start back putting more videos on that. Sorry, procrastinating on that too. It's just been a long bunch of shit. But thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it, and have a great
Right out the club, that's $250,000. High price fashion, Italian Milan. She get attached and I'm going on a run. Took the good batch and I can't feel my tongue. Hundreds of baddies, it's hard to choose one. Green like the shooters is already done. Green like the shooters, they already on you. Take a few addies and go in the coma. Taking and rapping, them bells by the palm. Driving my space, coupe boy to Daytona. Lie around the corner like Ronald McDonald's. Count on my lumber, you call me your bummer. Ripping that bird like the #1 stunner. Put on reserve, she tell when I want her. Pop in the bird, it go over 200. She kept it real with a shout out Shalanda. I bought a Gucci, she bought me a chopper. Money and sex, bringing me problems. But I'm at my best when I'm running through models. Look at your range, and dip them in vodka. Talking a million, Gucci, I got her. Came out the top of it, ain't no model.